Hi everyone, I am Rebecca from ChemKnits, and welcome to the behind the scenes vlog for the 2024 Summer Mini Skein mini-series. Tonight, I'm going to take you through a series of random clips and things that I took over the last few months as I was putting this series together. We'll talk about some of the elements that I designed, some thought processes behind some of the yarn colorways, and we'll show you what the finished wrapped mini skein sets looked like. I'll show off the extras and some of the planning that went in there. And then, yeah, there's probably a lot of other random thoughts along the way, including an injury that I sustained. Oh gosh, we're gonna jump all into it. I have a feeling that editing Rebecca may have to pop back in because there might be things without a lot of context because I don't have that much footage, but we'll see how things go. I have not started editing it yet. So yeah, let's go back in time, and I'll pop the date of the clips sort of up in the corner so that way it's clear when I'm coming back to present day Rebecca in my comfy chair versus past Rebecca potentially chatting in the same comfy chair. I honestly hadn't even thought about filming anything for the vlog, but these just arrived. Oh my gosh, and I didn't even know I was going to have some kind of loose like measuring theme. But here we go. This goes out to 60 inches and has my logo on it. And of course it's purple. Oh, so many. So these are going to be included in the samplers, but I ordered enough so that way I can also add them to the shop. So you can pick one up there. Oh man, I still regret when I did enamel pins that I didn't order a lot more of them so I would have extras. Here's the concept for my packaging, to use these pencil cases. And honestly, thinking about the packaging made me think about a theme for this year. And it sort of ties it all together. We're doing like measuring based-ish, somewhat. I plan to do a lot of color mixing this time, but the first video I filmed is almost a throwback to 2020 SMSMS. SMSMS? Yep, that's enough S's. And these are some of the Bath Fizz and Easter Egg dye tablets, sort of comparing the color intensity, that depth of shade that we get from one tablet between each of the types of dye, or 2 or 3 tablets. I've not yet listed pre-orders, but I plan for these 4 sets, I think I have 20 minis here, but I'm planning to list the yarn as an option and have food coloring in the options, so it's very clear that's what it is. I'm expecting these might sell on the later end, but I thought that it would be a fun video to include in SMSMS, and honestly, if they sell out, then maybe I'll dye some more sets to include in the video. And so, yeah, the nice thing about this series versus something like Hanukkah is that I can adjust as I'm working on it. I can do more sets in a particular yarn base. Sometimes after the pre-orders, I order more yarn because if, say, worsted weight sells out really fast, then I'll order more so I can update more and dye more in that yarn weight. So yeah, that's a flexibility that I have that I don't necessarily have when every single set is getting one of each skein. And so it's harder to go back and dye more at a later date. Not impossible, it's just harder. Whereas, yeah, it's easier this way to add more sets. It's the very end of April, and I don't think I've filmed very much for the vlog yet, but I have filmed yarn for the first 4 mini skein videos. And then I have a plan for the 5th, and I decided to do my sketches in Microsoft Paint this time. So that way I could, I guess, do a little time lapse of like the colors going on. I don't know. I thought that would be a little more fun than a static image. And then plus I might not lose the files, lose the sketch as I go on. So hopefully that comes out okay. The first 3 videos are very much more on like a measuring kind of theme. The first, we're like comparing a depth of shade with those tablets. Of course, I might change the order, but this is the order planning Rebecca has them in the head. The second, I'm doing color mixing. And then the third, I'm also doing color mixing, but we're playing around with glazing and glazing with mixes. And I think for these next 2, I guess a common theme is a little bit of thought and planning into it and a little bit of prep, because I'm still giving myself space to free flow and go with the flow, but I'm putting some thought into it. Or maybe the second two aren't that related, but that's okay. I still like my measuring theme that I have going on. And night 5 will have some measuring because there's going to be a range of different types of techniques. So we'll see how it goes. But right now I am suffering from spring allergies and the tree pollen. I am going back and forth between having a voice and no voice, and I just want to be able to talk and everything again. So for, I guess, night 4, there was a lot of prototyping that normally I would not have done as a time lapse that I did as a time lapse with voiceovers, because when I'm suffering more from allergies, if I'm wearing the respirator mask, it's a lot harder to speak. And then it's really hard to edit around that because I speak slow and take more breaths. So I just did that as a time lapse and voiceover, but I sort of stopped. I filmed the voiceover segments rather than just all at once, like more in the middle to pop that in. So that's how I did that. But anyway, I need to edit some Type Out Weekly episodes. So I'm going to go do that now. I think this video is probably out already, but otherwise it's a sneak peek. I'm just except I'm not counting. Whoops. I was just going to say that I love how glazed things look and how it really shows off when I'm twisting it. But I forgot that I need to fix the motor of my skein twister. And by me, I mean Keith. I got the replacement parts from the company. It no longer will count the seconds for me, so I have to count in my head. And I can't count in my head if I'm trying to film a clip. But the glaze is lovely. And how happy am I that the yak blend glazed too, and that you can see it with the pink. Oh, so happy. Have you ever wondered how I keep track of which skein is which, like which yarn base is which when I have it laid out like this? Well, usually when I'm filming, I have the labels already ready to go off to the side. And so as I wind up the skeins from a set of 5, I know, for example, that maybe there were 3 of the diamond silk and 2 of the superwash MCN, or I guess that's worsted weight right there. 2 of the worsted weight skeins in that bundle of 5. And so then I either have these labels in order just off camera, or sometimes I'll put them underneath the yarn, but often just off camera. But I check and recheck my notes to make sure that I can keep things separate as much as possible. And this is only ever really an issue when I'm doing bundles like this with so many different yarn bases on each colorway. For normal videos, that's not really an issue, but I might label the zip ties directly if needed. It's the last week of May, and I'm going to start dyeing our bonus colorway. Normally, when I'm picking a technique for the bonus colorway, I want to pick something that I can achieve for a couple dozen skeins in a reasonable time frame. Because if I do something that takes a really long time, it'll take me forever to do multiple batches. But this time, I really wanted to do a glazed colorway, especially after doing sort of a gradient glaze in another video. I wanted to dye something on the bottom and have it not just be an experimental glazing. I wanted to build on what I had learned in this series. My plan is to do a variegated yarn, lasagna-y, and then to glaze that. That is my plan. Part of me is debating a little bit. Part of me is wondering whether instead of lasagna-y, I should go for more random yarn moppy and then glaze on top of that. I think that that would be really beautiful, but at the same time, I think that I do want to keep it more regular just for this time, because I think that it'll be really pretty. I think it'll be fun and different from something that I've created for any of these bonus colorways. Do you ever guess the yarn bases I'm going to use based on what's in the listing and the yardage? Because we have Hawthorne, Crazy 8DK, and then Twill. I could have used Crazy 8DK and worsted, but those look so similar that it would be hard if I'm dyeing them in the same batches for me to tell which one is which. And doing it this way, because just the texture and twist in the yarn is different, I'll be able to tell them apart. And so that's why I made that decision. Plus, I have a ton of this yarn and I really adore it. It is a beautiful, bouncy, fun yarn. And so that was another reason that kind of came into this equation for me. There was a point where I ordered a ton of this and then wasn't really using it. And you would think that with only 149 yards, you wouldn't be able to get enough for a hat, but you really do. You get enough for a hat. And so a hat that fits me. I mean, I have an adult small head probably, but I was considering, I have a custom hat I need to make someone, and I was considering doing it on like with a la Prima or some other super bulky yarn, but maybe I should use twill. But anyway, I got sick of holding the phone up. There has not been very much vlog footage during this SMSMS, mainly because this May has been extremely busy. I got a really bad cold at one point that kind of knocked me off my feet. I was involved in an epic community art project. It was a community mosaic mural that I'm super excited about. I'm not sharing pictures here on YouTube, but I am sharing some pictures over on my Patreon. So if you want to hear more about the project, I'll talk about it a little bit over there, exclusively for ChemKnits patrons. So I guess this is a Patreon plug. You can learn more at patreon.com/ChemKnits. But that had me out of the house and exhausted as I was volunteering for that. And so that gave me a little bit less time over here. And so we're at the end of May. I want to start shipping in a couple of weeks. I still have to make stitch markers. I have the charms. I need to make the stitch markers. Hopefully I have the charms. Oh my gosh. I need to count and place an order for more of the bags. I've got really cool bags. I need to dye this yarn, and then I think I'm ready to ship SMSMS. But at the same time, on June 10th, I have a massive deadline for a top secret project that, well, I can't tell you more about yet. I can't tell you more about it. But the good news is that while I'm working on this other project, I'm also working on some fun new videos here, including some new introductory videos, because it's been a while. I feel like I've learned a lot and I can update some of that beginning content. And so I have plans to do that. I'm also experimenting with filming in 4K. I haven't actually edited any of the 4K footage yet. And SMSMS is still just all in HD, but I don't know if I'll make a switch to 4K. I'm gonna see how it goes. I have a feeling it's gonna take way longer to render and export those videos. They take up a lot more space. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if my computer can handle it well. And yeah. But so those are some of the things that are kind of going on right now. And hopefully this fall / end of the year holiday time, I'll be able to talk about my top secret project. But yeah, I think that it's something that you all will enjoy. But yeah, it's a lot of fun and synergistically involved with other things that I do. It's just the deadline for that is like aligned with SMSMS. And so the next 2 weeks are going to be ridiculous. And I am nervous. I'm so nervous. Mainly because I'm afraid, like, what happens if I get sick again? Because I typically try to schedule things out enough so that way I have a buffer. So if I get sick and I can't film for a week, I'm fine. And this spring, I've been so good. I was like, okay, my goal is to edit 4 videos a week. So that way, not only am I replacing the 2 videos that come out that week, I am editing more, right? To help me for the future. And the last couple of weeks, I haven't been able to do that, which is fine. I have a buffer for that reason, but you know, it's just stressful. So when I get into an actual crunch time with actual deadlines that are external to the ones I impose for myself, that can be stressful. Also, with it being May and then June, the end of the school year is always bonkers. You know, there are kids' concerts, end of the year projects that they're showing. We've got baseball, all kinds of fun stuff. So life is busy, which is really good. But this is why in these last few weeks I've posted fewer shorts. I had wanted to do some more live streams. I haven't done as many just because of time constraints. But I'm excited for the summer. And I'm excited for you to see these videos because I think that they're going to be a lot of fun. But anyway, hopefully this little chat is making up for the fact of all the behind the scenes footage that I have not had this year just because it's been hectic. Oh my gosh, I'm planning to cut the labels, which are super cute, by the way, adorable. I just noticed this project copies button. I don't know if this was always here and I've missed it, but it's something I've wished for and would make things so much more manageable. Of course, each color, because I'm doing a different color for each night, there's a different number for each, but oh my gosh, I wonder, I'll have to play around with that because I wonder if I could say, okay, I need 25 and it'll just duplicate something 25 times. That would be so much easier. Sometimes I arrange items so they all fit on one sheet, but I've been having to rotate things off of other sheets so that way I can fit one more in there. Because since things can be directional, Cricut software doesn't always rotate things. So that's what I've been doing. So I have like empty sheets because there was one yellow one left. I moved it there versus wasting a whole other sheet of paper. But when we do have extra paper, like in here, we'll have this whole strip, and that one's a thin strip, but still a strip. I cut them and save all these little strips because we use them for bookmarks. We either decorate them, write messages on them to each other, or just leave them as plain because everyone always needs more bookmarks. I have no idea if these labels, which are going to be a little big, if they'll work well in with the wrapping in the containers, but I think we'll test that in a moment. I like using a metallic color for some of these details. Oh, this is gonna be cute. It's gonna make it just like a little more subtle crayon. All right, I'll let this keep going. I did just find I could buy a pack of the little black markers, the 0.4s that I use the most often, and the silver and gold metallic markers. Ah, this is so useful because those are the ones I use the most. I made a mistake cutting a hole out of that circle, and I'd have to change it on 100 different things. No. Well, we'll see if this kind of works. I mean, I did a test of this printout. Oh, shoot. Why did it cut that? Oh. Okay, I'm gonna go see about... Oh, I don't want to redo all that. Shoot. I guess I have to, huh? Well, the good news is it's gonna look really cute in the bag. There's even space for our tape measure. I just have to fix the files. I'm so sad. Mistakes happen. They happen. We'll get through. Ooh. All these duplicates. Gone. Oh, man. Okay, the project copies does not change the number that show up, which is a bummer, but it means that I guess it would tell us to do each sheet multiple times, which is handy if you're doing the same number of everything, but you can always just reselect a page and have it print again. So I think that that's probably the way I'll do it, rather than copying and pasting everything so many times. So, all right, let's get going again. Much better. Now I can glue on the little yarn label here versus attempting to print something on, or like tape something to the back. Hopefully I fixed it for all the colors, but I guess we'll find out. I did think about making different color crayons for each of the yarn bases, but there's 10. And that's just not reasonable to make that many of them and to try to keep track of how many for each night. And so doing the yarn label separate from the night label means that it's easy for me to mix and match as I'm getting ready to pack. But one perk of the different colors for each night is it means that visually, if you order multiple bases, I can try to get different nights in there as much as I can. I'm filming this way because it's easier. I've had an interesting week. Last week, I went to the ER with spastic back pain. I'm fine. My CT was clear. It's a muscular skeletal thing, but it means that I can't bend or lift or, what is it? I'm not supposed to bend, reach, or lift right now. So that's been interesting. And it means that some of the dry yarn conclusions I'm filming are filmed way after when I dyed it. I don't even remember when I dyed night 5. I feel like that was 2 weeks ago. And so I was going to do another round. I'm not doing a second round of that one. And similarly, for the bonus full skein colorway, I was going to dye more. I have thankfully dyed enough for all the pre-orders, but I was going to dye some more batches to have some extra inventory, and I'm not able to do that right now. I think at least not before launch. So I may end up doing that as a pre-order. Maybe. We'll see. I think it'll help once I do final inventory after shipping the pre-orders, but things are all over the map and I'm taking it easy. I'm being okay. I'm not pushing myself, but yeah, I also had that top secret project that I was working on. And so yeah, things got hectic. Oh man. And yeah. Yep. So that's real life. This is why I do try to build buffer into my schedule in case something happens. But normally I'm thinking about like illness or kid illness. And I don't know if I mentioned it's the very beginning of June right now. Was it late April, early May? Maybe it was early May. I had a really bad cold. And so I was like knocked out. I was sick for like 2 weeks. I'm just like, I can't catch a break this year. It's been a rough year. It is June 11th, and I hope I'm going to start shipping things tonight. But first, I need to sort all of the mini skeins. They are currently separated by night in these buckets. And I'm now going to put on labels, put the episode number, and sort all the mini skein sets by the yarn base. So then I'll have a bucket, for example, with all of this 75-25, 4-ply sock, and I'll have a mixture of all the colors, but then we'll see the night numbers. I'm going to be wrapping these packages on demand. That way I can make sure, because there's some nights that have a few different colorway options, that there's variation between yarn mops and sock blanks and the colorways that I pick for people. So I do that. And I realized, I don't know if I've ever shown this. This was the first game of the World Series in 2007. This is the Green Monster at Fenway Park. And there are me and Keith. This was in the paper the next morning. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm not going to show you the absolute mess of containers all over my dining room. That might get bad. But the good news is that I just did an inventory check, and the number of dyed sets for all the bonus skeins and the mini skein sets matches perfectly with what I have in my spreadsheet. And so that's really, really good. Now, in no particular order, we have all the yarn mops and leave no dye behind / bonuses. All the sock blanks ready to go from nights, I guess, 2, 3, and 4. I didn't end up doing a sock blank for night 5. Again, like timeline and injury kind of put a bit of a damper on that, but I think that I can do it in a video. I think I can do that kind of colorway in a video on a sock blank, or maybe I'll do some dyed to order. No promises. If there is conclusions, Rebecca will talk about that, or there will already be listings in the ChemKnits Creations Etsy shop at this point. You know, we didn't ever have one night that has all the yarn bases. There's some that there are a bunch of, but because night 1 was just on platinum fingering, and I didn't use this yarn base on every single night, I have our 4-ply, our 3-ply, and our 2-ply sock yarns here, just for a little comparison. So yeah, we've got some solids, like with our first two. And I mean, this is kind of a solid, but it's a glazed. It's different. It's different. And then two more variegated sets, one more neutrally toned and one that goes darker. All right, now you can tell me which night is your favorite. There's no correlation between the color of the pencil case and the yarn that you get, but I think I'm gonna try, if you order multiple, to have the cases be different colors because that's fun. And so I'm gonna need to put in the progress keeper. I'm probably gonna put it in the front so I can make sure it's there versus the back, the yarn, the label, the measuring tape, and I think that's it. I don't wanna go into my entire thought process on pricing and cost and all of that, even though I do try to be fairly transparent, but I'll say that the cost of materials, and I'll say the yarn and the extras, the tissue paper, all of that stuff all together is a little bit more expensive than last year, but I did not increase the price. I did not increase the price of the kit. So I just want to let you know that so that way you're aware that I do take these things into consideration, but I didn't think that the increases, mainly because I ordered the custom tape measure, I didn't want that to like make things more expensive, but I do take that into account when I consider how many progress keepers are going to go into each kit for that year, right? For that year, or whether or not there's going to be a sticker. Those things sort of factor in, and yeah. These are just so cute. I like them so much. I wish there were some that had like a keychain on it that I really wanted. Unfortunately, the minimum order required was just way too high for what I could do. And yeah, they wouldn't let me order the smaller quantity that I need because can you imagine if I had like an extra 500 of these sitting around? That might be a little much. But I was able to find a purple one, and so that made me happy. Here are all the different case color options. Okay, so for part of my order processing philosophy, this is a very big order. One from each night. We've got night 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all on different yarn bases. I try to pick orders that have multiple yarn bases early, so that way I can make sure I can have variety. And then I pulled 5 of these that I'll wrap into. I didn't pull the extras yet. And then for the bonuses, I already wrapped up our finished glazed colorway. I tried to pick things that would be a little different. So these are related. They're from different nights, but the colorways are related. And so I thought that those could go together potentially or not. But the other thing is that both of these are different from any of these other nights. The sock blanks are from 3 different nights, 2, and the sock blanks from night 2 are very different from that colorway. We've got sock blanks from 3 and 4. And those sock blanks are a lot more similar in character to the actual mini Skein sets. And so that's why I tried to mix it up for this particular order. I appreciate every single order, big, small, medium, but I do always start shipping the international orders and the orders that take a little bit more. It's not necessarily a puzzle, but where I want to try to make sure there's variety because they have lots of different pieces first, because there isn't always a chance for variety, but imagine that I try to pick those at the end and then, oh no, everything I have left is from night 3. I think night 3 has a lot of people are going to get night 3. And so, yeah, that's just why I start with the big ones. Even if I'm not going to wrap it yet, I at least have the yarn pulled. I did this last Hanukkah as well, but pay attention to the business card because we have a little coupon code there. I'm not really advertising this, but I figured if you've watched this far into the vlog, you deserve to get the coupon code as well. I just dropped off about 30 packages at the post office. I dropped off a bunch yesterday. I have a few left, so we're almost done. Oh my gosh. But right now I'm stressing because there's 2 weeks left in this school year. And I have a lot of editing and things to do before I do some travel that I'm very, very excited about. But, oh, my back. I'm being careful. The kids are doing a lot of help, so that way I don't have to bend. They just pick up all the trash off the floor for me. Very, very sweet. But one thing I realized is, so you can get a bulk scan form from Etsy if you have multiple packages that you package on the same day. And it's one form that has all the tracking numbers in there, so they don't have to scan each package individually when they accept it. I've been calling them Scantrons. Why? Why is Scantron in my name? Is that those bubbles that we used to do in elementary school or middle school when we had like multiple choice tests? I made the postal worker laugh, and I'm like, I think I'm delirious. Oh man. But I'm happy, and I'm happy that I'm getting the yarn out on schedule. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know if that's going to happen. And I had this massive list I made a few weeks ago of all the things I needed to do before the last day of school. And, well, we're doing pretty well. We're doing pretty well, and I should be able, I hope to accomplish it. My goal is before the end of June, I would like to have the very first 2 episodes of the SMSMS edited. I have everything else around there edited, so that's pretty good. I have some other things that I need to finish by the end of this month. That should be fine, but yeah, I'm hoping. We're doing it! We're doing it! We're making it! All right, I'm gonna go home. I'm starting to edit night 2. There's over 3 hours of footage. Now, to be fair, a lot of this is time lapse. I'm making die stocks, and I know that there's a lot of voiceover and stuff in here. But, oh man. I thought that I was going to come outside for the conclusions because my kids need a shower after camp. They come home pretty filthy, which is wonderful. Coming home filthy from camp is great. But there's a lot of construction noise, so I guess I'll wait. I'm back in my chair, and it's been wild over here because there was an alarm going off across the street. It's just been extra, extra noisy. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me for the whole 2024 Summer Mini Skein mini series. I really hope that you've enjoyed the whole thing and that you liked a little bit of the look at this vlog. Now, there are a few things I've realized that I didn't show at all, and so we're going to show those now. These labels are so cute that I used for the full skeins that I wrapped. And in with our measuring theme, the glazed yarn came with these little measuring cup progress keepers. How cute! Sock blanks and yarn mops got more simple labels. But then these little pencil charms are the extras. These little colored pencil charms. Oh, so cute. Remember when I used colored pencil shavings last Hanukkah? But given that I picked a penciled case for the bags, I thought that this was appropriate. The last progress keeper is one that I've had on hand for a while. It's like a piece of a ruler or something. It is weird that it goes from 12 to 15, but it's purple. I feel like it's like, I don't know. It's almost like some kind of rubber coating over something a little more metal. Super cute, but these went into all of the sets. And speaking of the sets, how adorable is this packaging? Oh my goodness. Now, this one is very color coordinated. Obviously, all of these extras are purple, and only the labels from night 1 are purple, so things aren't quite as color coordinated. But even if you have one of the other nights, they're still incredibly cute. One of the coolest features of these bags is that, well, they have the 3-hole punch, so you can put it in a binder with a bunch of patterns. But I like having clear bags to keep my notions in, because then you can see them as you rifle through. So it's a perfect little bag to keep stitch markers, progress keepers, even cables, if you have cables for interchangeable needles. And I know that I have more that fit in my little book that I have for them. And actually, I want to get a better binder for it. But I mean, I have a lot of extras of these bags, so maybe I should use these for some of those interchangeable needles that I have. I just don't think I can get over the cuteness. I am so proud of how this all came together. Everything feels very school supply. It just works. And also hopefully is useful and reusable. These bags just fit the yarn perfectly. 5 mini skeins. So good. I am Rebecca from ChemKnits, and the neighbor's alarm is going off again. It could be a fire alarm. I know my fire alarm keeps going off because when you open the door, the humidity outside then condenses on the smoke detector, setting it off. So hopefully that isn't super audible in the video. I'm gonna cross my fingers because I wanna finish editing. I did mention something about dyed to order options, and there are currently 2 dyed to order listings related to the Summer Mini Skein mini-series. One, you can get a set of full skeins, so a 500 gram set, 5 100 gram skeins, dyed in the colorway of Night 3, that glazed gradient. So that's available in the ChemKnits Creations Etsy shop. And then also the Night 6, the bonus variegated glazed colorway, that is available for pre-order. I'll dye another batch of that towards the end of July. But there are also still some sock blanks left, and there's some mini skein sets still available. And I've updated the mini skein listing so that way when you pick the yarn base, you can see which nights are available. So that way you can go and see, okay, I want night 2, I like those colors, what yarn bases are still available? Or say you got one that you loved and you want it in another yarn base to have 2 things go together, then you can get that easily. Eventually, I'll list some of the mini skeins separately, but for now, if you order the mini skein, even though it's no longer a mystery, I'm still gonna wrap it up for you. Please subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. That is the biggest way that you can help support all of the content here on the ChemKnits Tutorials YouTube channel. And if you want to know where to find me on social media and all that jazz, you know I got links down in the video description. And I guess now it's time for me to start, or really continue, planning for Hanukkah. Hanukkah's late this year, so I don't expect to have any announcements there until like closer to the end of the summer. But even though I may not have any vlog clips yet, I've got some plans underway already. Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for watching.